I think most people would agree that Bob Chapek's reign as Disney CEO was less than ideal. And ever since Bob Iger came back to reclaim the throne of the CEO of Disney, many have wondered who is going to be the successor to Bob Iger, considering Bob Iger is not a young man and he came back basically saying part of his main agenda was to find the successor that was going to run Disney. And since then, we haven't had any word specifically, but there's an article here by Yahoo Finance that says Disney CEO Bob Iger's successor could be revealed this year. So we're going to dig into this article here. Hi, I'm Jared with Capture the Magic, and let's get right into it. So as of now, Disney hasn't come out and said officially who's in the running for the next CEO position. It is believed to be there are 4 internal candidates versus taking somebody from the outside of the company. So those 4 internal candidates that are considered likely to be up for the running of CEO are Entertainment Division co-chiefs Dana Walden and Alan Bergman, Parks Division head Josh D'Amaro, and ESPN chairman Jimmy Pitaro. So we're going to go through this article here and see what it has to say. Then I have some thoughts about the potential Disney CEO here and what this thing says. So it says it's possible that the Disney CEO succession race ends before 2025. Now, considering Bob Iger is supposedly not going to be with the company past 2026, one would assume you need to start pretty soon, and whoever you're going to bring in as the next CEO, and start getting them up to the speed on the job, because the position of a Disney CEO is not like any other company. You have so many different divisions. You have the parks, which is a huge aspect of it, and then you've got the television side and the streaming side. In the movies, you have I would say it's a CEO position that's unlike any other company, and I think that takes a little bit of getting used to, if I were to guess. Now, I'm not a CEO, so I don't know this, but they go on to say here, it says, quote, I think we may know this year, but Bob Iger has 2.5 more years, so it wouldn't surprise me if it is extended a little bit beyond this calendar year and into next year. That doesn't surprise me. Close advisor and Candle Media co-founder Kevin Mayer told Yahoo Finance at the Cannes Lions Festival on Tuesday. Now, before we even get further into this article, what is I find interesting here is Kevin Mayer, along with Tom Staggs, were in the running for the CEO position before it was awarded to Bob Chapek. And they left the company after they basically were told, you're not going to be the next CEO. And they formed Candle Media. So when they say co-founder, the other one is Tom Staggs, who was also in the running for the Disney CEO. Now, since Bob Iger has come back, it was also reported that Iger has been consulting with Kevin Mayer and Tom Staggs about potentially the next CEO and other types of moves, which is interesting. There have been some rumblings that they may be involved in the next CEO position, but given that they run this Candle Media, it is in my understanding that if they were to be the next CEOs, or one of them be, that Disney would have to buy out Candle Media. And I don't know if that's something that they're looking at doing. So I just want to put that out there before we even go any further, that is an interesting little wrinkle in this. Mayer, who said he has no exact date or specific insight into the process, I don't know if I believe that, added secession, quote, will be very clean and very good this time around. I don't know how you wouldn't have any insight into the process if you can go on and say that, but I digress. In the not too distant future, he's going to make it known who his successor is he has some time to spend with him or her at the helm. So he has some time to spend with her or him at the helm, predicted Mayer. There are reportedly 4 internal candidates, like we talked about. They said the company could also go with an outside candidate. But what all media experts agree on is that the process must be executed flawlessly, following a high-profile bungling, I guess that's a good way you could put that, last time when former CEO Bob Chapek was fired in favor of bringing back Bob Iger. Any new Disney CEO is getting a giant media ship contending with considerable change. Disney signaled it is closing in on profitability for all of its direct-to-consumer streaming services and networks, according to its fiscal second quarter earnings results. That's a whole other video topic, but I don't believe they're talking about overall. I believe they may be close to profitability for like a quarter, but I don't believe as a whole they are actually really close to that. It topped quarterly earnings estimates days after beating back an activist attack from Nelson Peltz, but consumer spending has slowed in its theme parks. This comes as the company's linear TV networks are bleeding business to streamers like Netflix and Amazon, and the company is preparing to launch an unproven sports streaming business dubbed Venue Sports. So they go on here about the TV side of things, but I thought the interesting thing here was Kevin Mayer basically saying that the successor to Bob Iger could be named this year. Now, again, it's interesting that Kevin Mayer is out here saying this and then also acting like he doesn't have any information on this. I don't really buy that, if I'm being quite honest. In terms of the internal candidates, I've kind of said all along, I don't really believe any of them are really ready for that role, considering, I mean, okay, Josh DiMaggio knows the park, but I don't know what he knows about movies. And you could say the same for like Dana Waldron and Alec Bergman. Like, they know about the movies and TV side, but what do they know about the parks, vice versa? So it would be really hard to find a candidate internally that has a real grasp and understanding about all of these aspects of the parks. Now, granted, you could take other aspects into mind and they could be trained by Iger, but as it stands now, I've said for a while, I think Disney needs outside blood. I think when you look at, in my opinion, outside of Walt Disney, the best person that's ever run Disney was Michael Eisner. And one of the reasons that Michael Eisner was successful is because he had Bob Wells running it with him. So you kind of had this co-CEO setup where you had Eisner that was more the creative side and ideas, and you had Bob Wells who ran the money, kind of like how Walt Disney and Roy Disney were back in the heyday of Disney. Now, in this day and age, I don't know if you could find two CEOs with all the egos and everything that would be willing to do that sort of setup. I don't know, but I feel like Disney is such a unique company and so big that it almost would require something along those lines, unless you start talking about certain things being sold off, which has been rumored for a while, like the TV network, ESPN, things of that nature, to more streamline the company, which I've been saying for a while as well. I think that probably would be a good move overall, but they haven't. There's been rumors of that earlier this year, but since then, I really haven't been hearing anything else. And I don't believe the selling Disney to Apple rumor has any merit as well. So I don't think that is going to be happening. But this is interesting, Wrinkle. We'll see if it is announced this year. If I were to guess in things that I have heard, which I don't claim to have inside sources, I've heard Dana Waldron and Josh DiMaggio are kind of the two front runners from the internal side of things. Again, they could pull a fastball and go from outside the company, which I think they probably should. But again, there may not be many people looking to sign up for being the CEO of Disney at this point in time. In my opinion, I think they need a lot of things. They need to, change. The movie side hasn't been doing that hot. And so, Inside Out 2 is doing well. But outside of that, it's been very kind of cold on the movie side. Disney Plus has been an issue. But we will see what this develops. But it could be this year. And I imagine once that's announced, that's either going to be, people are going to be really happy or really mad, but we will have to wait and see on that. But that will do it for this video. If you liked it, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, as we will be doing more news on topics like this, also involving Disney World, Universal Studios, and more pop culture news. And let us know in the comments what you think about this. Do you think that they're going to name a successor this year? Do you think it's internally, or do you think they should go from outside the company? Or do you think Bob Iger is just going to stay at Disney for absolutely as long as he can? So let us know in the comments what you think. And until next time, we will see you in the parks.